Well, hi there. Welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom, and I do the movie reviews. If you are brand new to my channel, yay, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like what you see and hear and subscribe. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. And if you are a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for coming back. I truly appreciate your support. All right, so the movie I'm reviewing today is called The Menu. Searchlight Pictures presents an intriguing film that is kind of a combination of horror, comedy, mystery, and thriller. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, then opened at the USA Fantastic Fest, and is now in over 3,000 theaters nationwide here in the United States, making it the widest release in the studio's history. The movie is rated R and is an hour and 47 minutes. Now, my movie review mom grade is, drum roll please, an A-. So don't move off to another YouTube channel. Let me explain why and give you the content heads up. So, in a nutshell, the stylish film was directed by Mark Maloud. So what I want to know is, what do you think that he and the writers are trying to say? Some say that the film is a commentary on filmmaking today. Others say it's a statement on the elevation of chefs in modern day to rock star status. One thing I really liked about this movie is that it will definitely get people talking. The screenwriter, Will Tracy, thought of the idea for this movie after he had visited some fancy schmancy restaurant on a private island off of the Norwegian shore. And it kind of startled him to think he couldn't get away, that he was stranded at that restaurant on that little island. And so to turn that into a horror was kind of clever. Will Ferrell actually is one of the producers of this movie. So I used to teach classes at the famous Le Cordon Bleu Culinary College at the Las Vegas campus, because I live in Las Vegas right now. So I was especially interested to see what this movie was going to be about. I had not seen the trailer, and I usually don't see the trailer. I don't want to get spoilers. I just dive in and start watching the movies, which may or may not be a good idea. But anyway, boy, was I surprised. Watch the trailer and see if this looks like something that you're going to like. This very talented cast features many award winners, including Ralph Fiennes, love him, Anya Taylor-Joy, love her, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, and Judith Light, among others. So fun fact number one is that the fancy food that we see in the movie was actually prepared by French chef Dominique Crenn, who is the only female chef in the United States to earn 3 Michelin stars. So that's kind of awesome. And when you watch this food, when you see this food, you are going to start to salivate. You're going to start to feel hungry. Sometimes you're going to want to laugh at what you see, but it's all good fun and it all looks beautiful. Fun fact number 2 is in the beginning of the film, the customers are led to the restaurant by a character named Elsa and a few goats. So a Judas goat is a goat used to keep cattle and other livestock calm while being led into trucks and into slaughterhouses. So that is the first hint that the diners are cattle being sent to the slaughter. Dun, dun, dun. Now, if you think it's a light-hearted movie, there is definitely humor, but this is also definitely a horror. Fun fact number 3, smoking really does ruin your palate. Now, in working with chefs, I was always shocked at how many of my culinary school students were actual smokers. And I kept telling them, how can you even taste the food to be able to tell if you're putting in too much salt or whatever? And so if you're a smoker and a foodie, you got to get rid of one or the other. And I highly suggest you get rid of the smoking because food has so many different layers and you want to be able to taste them all. So stop smoking. All right, that's the mother in me coming out, right? Movie review mom. All right, enough lecturing. So here are some of the things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done better. First of all, some will say that the ending is absolutely ridiculous. Now, that would be a valid complaint. However, the entire movie is absolutely ridiculous. True horror fans will probably want even more blood and gore than there already is. Let me give you some tips for parents. This is definitely not a movie that's appropriate for children. Why? Because there is profanity, including a lot of F-bombs. There are some crude conversations. There's some violence, but more importantly, people get hurt in very bloody, gory, disgusting ways. So that's fun. So some of the themes that are illustrated very well in the movie are food and foodies. And in fact, one of the customers is a foodie. And we actually see her being reprimanded and scolded for being a food snob, a food critic. You know, who is she to decide what is good food or bad food? And that kind of stung a little bit as a film critic because I've never made a film, I mean, other than my little YouTube videos, and I am always in awe of film directors and producers and the actors and everybody involved in making a film, even if it's a bad one. My goal has always been to help viewers be able to decide where to spend their time and money because there are so many movies out there and many of them are not good. And so my heart is for filmmaking. I love movies, but I also know how frustrating and painful it can be to spend your hard-earned money and your precious time watching a movie that is just awful. So that being said, some of the other themes in the movie are nature, obsession, pretentious consumers of art, concept art and the artist, the haves versus the have-nots. As I mentioned earlier, that elevation of chefs to rock star status. They have their own TV shows now and they travel around the world and talk about food and eat food. And I love all those shows. Also, service industry workers and good and bad customers. So I think all of those are worthy of conversations with the people with whom you watch the movie. So definitely get some good conversations going. All right, so I always try to write down funny lines and interesting lines while I'm watching movies, simply so that I can share them with you and you can kind of get a taste, get it, pun intended, for the script writing. So Tyler, who's played by Nicholas Hoult, he does such a great job. He says, chefs play with the raw ingredients of life itself. And he is so passionate and such a fan of this famous chef. And so it's really fun to watch how he just is in love with everything that's happening. And then Elsa, who is played by Hong Chow, she is one of the workers at this special restaurant. And she says this to one of the customers who's just grumpy and complaining, "You will eat less than you desire and more than you deserve." And I was like, oh, I need to write that down. And then some interesting lines are spoken by Chef Slowick, who's played by Ralph Fiennes. And he says, "Do you want to die with those who give or those who take?" And I thought that was an interesting line. And really ask yourself, which one are you? Are you a giver or a taker in life? What are you contributing to the world, or are you just taking everything from it? Chef Slowick also says, what happens to an artist who loses his purpose? And that is a big theme of this movie as well. And then finally, Margot makes a comment. She's played by Anya Taylor-Joy. She's so great. And she says, "You cook with obsession, not love." And I loved that statement because if you are a creative of any kind, whether you're an artist, musician, actor, writer, or anything like that, ask yourself, are you creating the art because you're obsessed with that medium or making money, or because you love that art, or you love art itself and that freedom of expression? Anyway, interesting ideas. All right, so before we go, let me give you a recommendation for another movie that just recently came out that I instantly thought of because it has a lot of similarities. It's called Triangle of Sadness. So it is definitely a horror. It's a comedy horror. And it also features the haves versus the have-nots, the givers versus the takers, the wealthy versus those in the service industry. And I will queue up my movie review of that one so you can kind of see. It's funny and disgusting all at the same time. like this movie. So I think if you like this one, you're definitely going to like Triangle of Sadness. All right, that's it for my review. Thank you so much for letting me talk about this movie for a few minutes. And also to thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't already, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, what are you waiting for? Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.